Woozie here with NeoWorlder, and today we're going to be making a clone of myself. So to do this, we're going to be creating a persona in our commercial account here. This one's just one that I've got set up for myself here. So we will, as a prerequisite, we'll be using a persona creator allowance as well as a entity allowance to set up our creator persona, as well as then to set up our new persona. And this new persona will be me, Woozie Rogers, our AI clone. I'm going to use this to show how we can kind of use our default skill package, the soul skill bundle, that is required when you're making a new persona, how we can basically give it background knowledge and context, as well as teach it to then make it sound like ourselves here. So with that said, let's get started. I will say right up the front here, there are a variety of other things you can do with this default soul package. If you were wanting to make like a character with a specific background and voice and knowledge, you could do that. You could also make a persona that's kind of the brand for your business. If you were McDonald's, you could make Ronald McDonald persona, so that when customers are talking to him, he sounds like your brand. You could also make this a personal persona, maybe just has various info about your life that you need to know. Maybe it's your cousin's birthdays or whatever there, just for a quick reference for yourself. Or as well, it could be an internal reference for a business. So maybe it's company policies and time off policies and just all those fun things that people are asking about all the time in companies. You can basically load up your persona with that and then give access to your business so that they can kind of ask those questions as well. So I'm kind of rambling on a bunch of use cases here, but let's go ahead and get started today with making a clone of myself. Alright, so first things first, a few things to check here. I am currently logged into my commercial account here. And if we go to commerce actually first here, we're going to check on a couple prerequisites here. So we're going to go to commerce and we're going to go to my wallet. And you can see I've already created my creator persona, so we don't actually need the allowance here. We've got that set up. And then on entities, you can see I have 4 available here, so I do have 4 available to meet. So let's go right back into our Life Lab here, and you can see our creator persona, the original right here that we have set up. So let's go into chat, and we're going to use one of those entity allowances to start making our persona with our creator persona. Okay, so I'm going to tell it that I would like to make a clone of myself, Woozie Rogers, and we'll get this started. Alright, it's telling me that it will use up 1 allowance, and then it's also telling me that this soul skills bundle that we're talking about will be needing to subscribe to that, which is perfect because that's what we'll use to make our clone here. So that all sounds good, so let's go ahead and continue. Alright, it's going to have me answer some just basic questions about the persona we're creating here. We'll fill those in real fast. Alright, so we've got a name, username, email, gave it a date of birth, and brief description, basically just describing it as the clone of myself. We'll skip parents, and let's start with our just default bundle that's already included, so we won't add anything extra just yet. Okay, we'll submit those. Okay, so it's got my basic info here, and now it's going to start asking me some personality questions. Alright, and I'm just continuing on with some of the personality questions here, trying to answer them similar to how I would in real life. Okay, we're kind of getting through personality and now a little bit more into backstory here, so we'll keep going. Alright, and just finishing up our background questions here now still. Okay, and just provided a writing sample by writing a couple paragraphs in my tone here. And we should be getting to our final steps here of the creation process. Okay, so it's got my tone and writing style here, and we are basically all formed here now. So now let's go and configure this skill bundle. This will be what gives kind of this core communication skill to the persona we're creating here, which in this case is the clone of me. And then we can kind of go through how we can further give it more contextual knowledge to further kind of keep building it out like myself, as well as start teaching it when we're having conversations. So let's go ahead and configure now. And you're going to see it's bringing me into the settings, the skill bundles of the settings here. And we're going to see that we already have this one subscribed. This is the base package here. So let's go ahead and pay now so that we can activate this one. It will prorate for the end of the month too, if it's the middle of the month there, which is why you might see a different number here. Okay, it's going to bring up a Stripe link. Let me enter my details and pay here. Okay, we successfully paid. Let's continue. And still in the settings, we're going to go right back to the skill bundle here. And you can see now that we've paid, we just need to activate it. So let's go ahead and activate it. And that should make our persona now active with this skill bundle active here. So let's go see what we can actually use with it here now. Let's go back to the life, and you can see that we've got our Woozie Rogers clone card here now. Let's start by actually adding a picture of me to this one here. All right, if we go here, we can upload directly here. All right, let's just pick some random AI image of me. We'll save that. We'll make sure we save the profile. And now let's go into actually talking into this clone persona that we just made. All right, let's refresh and get that image up there. All right, and now let's go into the chat and chat with our new persona. So to start here, it will have some of those background and personality traits that we just filled out in there. But really what I want to show here is how we can start adding more and more contextual knowledge to this persona so that it starts behaving and talking more like me with more knowledge that would be like from me. So to start here, we can come in here and send a generic message. All right, so you can see that it's starting to respond back with some of those personality traits that we gave it, but doesn't quite yet feel like me. So here we're going to go kind of show where we can start gearing this in towards being more like me and being more like my clone here. So to start, I'm going to just show you here, if we just ask it some generic question about kind of myself, like we'll ask what's his favorite color, and we'll wait for the response. Right now, I haven't actually put anything in there about my favorite color, so I'm assuming it'll kind of either give me something generic or just make something up. And then basically from here, we'll show where we can actually start putting this information in so that the persona will spawn back with information we actually want it to here. And kind of when we're doing that, we'll do it in two ways here. So first, right after this, I'll show you how we can add it directly into the contextual knowledge. And then after that, we'll show you how we can use this teach functionality to actually teach it directly from the One UI here. So you're saying favorite color is teal blue. Let's pretend that my favorite color is, I guess we don't have to pretend here. My favorite color is green here. So we're going to change this from teal blue to green right now. And the way we're going to do that is by going in and actually adding that directly to the contextual knowledge here. So we're going to back out of this conversation. And for Woozie Rogers, we're going to go into the settings here. And under contextual knowledge, here is going to be where you can see our personality dossier is already in here with a lot of the answers that we've already filled in. But you can see that we actually have some additional fields here. So we have role. For this, I'm going to actually tell it that it's acting as the clone of me. Okay, so let's give them a role here. And the role is basically to be my clone, mimic me as much as possible. Personality dossier, we won't edit that. We'll leave it as the information we submitted there to start. Tone annotations, this is going to be more kind of formatting and tone of how it's responding back here. And then core knowledge is going to be where we start actually adding some of this just straight facts information. So like here is where we'll start with our favorite color. And then just want to point this out for the bottom here. You can see that there's also knowledge annotations, specific instructions, but then also specific instruction annotations, as well as constraint annotations here. Basically for the annotations fields, this is where when we're using the teach functionality, those notes will actually come here. So when you're filling this in themselves, look for kind of the base fields like core knowledge, role, specific instructions and specific constraints. These kind of tell your persona what they should be doing, what they shouldn't be doing, and what they know here. So let's start with a real simple example, and we'll go into our core knowledge, and we're going to add a favorite color here. Okay, so I've added in the core knowledge just a few random facts about me. We added favorite color green, favorite movie V for Vendetta, favorite TV show Game of Thrones. We'll come up here and hit save, and now let's go back into interacting with our persona and see how that updates here. So we're going to come back here. We're going to come back into Woozie, and now let's ask it for your favorite color. Okay, so it got my favorite color right there, so that's better there. Let's go ask another question real fast. Okay, so I asked it about the three core knowledge facts that we added in there, and you can see it's getting them right now. But let's say that we wanted to update this, or maybe my opinion changed, or this is just straight wrong. Now let's show how we can actually teach directly from this one UI here. So you can see below all of the persona's responses, there's this teach function. Basically what we can do here is help it understand that when it gets a similar question as this, how it should answer here. So let's open up teach here. And we're going to say that this is incorrect. We're going to pretend like my favorite TV show is Westworld instead. So here under annotations, we're basically just describing it to the persona what's wrong. You can also, if this just needed more context, or if this was kind of correct, you could put it in here. But let's just say, like, nope, this isn't it. So let's add our annotation here. All right, we'll update that to Westworld, and we're going to generate annotation. Okay, and we'll please submit it. And remember, this will be saved in those settings automatically for our persona. You can see that it's saved there, and then let's just re-ask it again to see if that stuck. Move myself. All right, and you can see in real time how quickly that is here. This is good because now when we get to some other use cases for this, imagine we were talking to people at mass in a campaign, and maybe it was something for business use cases where maybe we had a price on something or a sale update. Basically, while in live communication with our customers or our clients or whoever we're talking to, we can basically in real time update that information, and it will automatically in real time start responding the way we want it to here. So kind of wanted to show that as its way here. One other thing I'll kind of end this video on is one of the things that you can do to kind of really get these personas start feeling like yourself is either download a personality quiz or some type of personality index online, or even just have ChatGPT make you up like 100 questions that are basic about your personality and backstory, and then basically just go through them one at a time, asking the persona, and then either answering or teaching based on the responses there. You could also fill in a full, if you were trying to make a clone of yourself, basically fill out a full personality index and then also save that in the core knowledge as well. Just trying to give you some ideas on a lot of things you can do here to get it sounding like you. And then this is, again, just I've been kind of highlighting the clone use case of this, but we can also make personas for other kind of purposes using these same skills and teach functionalities. Anything from a character in a video game or story to something like a persona that's your brand for your business. Oh, sorry, excuse me. To even something just like an internal resource for your business. So maybe it's something where you upload all of your company's, time off policies or anything like that, so that people can check them at their wheel through their persona. So just throwing out a few other random ideas that this can be used for, but hopefully you kind of see the general functionality of just creating the persona with this core conversational skill and the ability to add core knowledge as well as kind of teach it as well here. So more videos to come, but that's one of the first things that you can do with your new personas, and wanted to kind of highlight that here today.